Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at Gryselle's Arenai for Warhammer Underworlds Gnarlwood. So first of all I want to say a massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us this a little bit early and for free to review for the site. What we're going to be doing in this video is checking out the contents, having a look at the Warband, seeing how they play and checking out all of the cards in here too. I'm also aiming to get these guys painted up, so at the end of the video we'll do a bit of a showcase as well, showing off what they look like. But yeah, this is the latest warband for Warhammer Underworlds and has a witch elf vibe. While the previous kind of Daughters of Cain warband has a kind of like Slaughter Queen kind of vibe to them, these ones are all kind of more pit fighters by the look of things. So yeah, I'm assuming from their name they do kind of gladiatorial combat and the like, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how these play. I'm going to assume that they're going to be an aggressive warband, but yeah, without further ado, should we crack this open and have a look what is inside? So interesting, looks like we've got a new box system for Warhammer Underworlds. They previously came in plastic trays that slid out, but now it's a cardboard box that slides out the box. I quite like that from a kind of, you know, recycling point of view. So what we're going to do, take these sprues out, we'll have a look at the cards in a little bit, but first of all let's have a look at the miniatures, because that is the main attraction here. And obviously Warhammer Underworlds figures all tend to have sculpted bases, and they all tend to be push fit as well. Now I'd have kind of liked to see some more of the weird stuff for this. They're a cool concept, but I don't know, I can't help but feeling I'd have liked some Melusi and Canary and stuff in here. But little gladiatorial team of Daughters of Cain does look quite fun. So we've got two frames, we've got that one, and then the second frame with the rest of the warband on it. Again, these all tend to be sculpted in coloured plastic as well, so that you can use them just out of the set without having to paint them. Obviously I'll be painting up these for the video, so we'll have a look at those in a little bit. Before we get on to looking at the cards though, we'll have a quick look at the assembly instructions as well. So Warhammer Underworlds figures never tend to be too difficult to build up. Like I say, they are push fit. You can use glue, but what I'd recommend is if you do, just cut down the pegs a little bit, because that kind of extra couple of millimetres of glue can make the parts not fit very well, where they do fit quite nicely if you just push them together, and I've had no issues. A few rare cases where it might be necessary to glue a piece on, but in 99% of the cases I just push fit them and they look absolutely fine. So yeah, so these look like they should be a fairly straightforward build. So what we're going to do now is have a look at their cards. Now first of all, these are a bit of a glass cannon, but they are surprisingly survivable. They've all got this acrobatic skill, which basically for each dodge that you roll, you get to deduct 1 from the damage taken. So, I mean, she's got 4, the rest of your fighters have only got 2 health. So you're going to only survive, you know, 2 hits with it. But it does mean that initial hit doesn't kill you, hopefully leaving your fighters alive to do, you know, what they need to do, which is really cool for what is essentially a glass cannon kind of warband. They're all very fast. We've got movements 4 and 5 across the board. When they inspire, we've got movements 5 and 6 across the board, so they're going to be able to get to where they need to. They hit pretty hard with their attacks as well, especially on the inspired side. A lot of them have got combo on their weapons, and there's quite a few upgrades in here that will combo off that to give them an additional attack at the end. Inspire mechanics are quite interesting too. So they all inspire in the 3rd round regardless, but there's additional conditions on them to kind of inspire a little bit earlier. So for example, we've got Gryselle the Slaughterer, so if she has a critical hit. We've got Calexis. You roll 4 and more attack dice for this fighter's attack roll, so if you can get some more attack dice in there with some upgrades. The Entangler, if you stagger an enemy fighter. Theralia, if she makes an attack action as a reaction, which again is easily doable. And then Taraxa, if she uses a critical ability. And kind of going in conjunction with them, they've got quite a few different abilities on their cards too. Roll 1 attack dice for each success you rolled, including critical successes, and add these to the roll. So you will get an attack off with her, and again, get her inspired so she's doing more damage and getting a load of dice on there anyway. That's pretty cool. This is a cool one. She counts as flying when she makes a charge, so you can hop over enemy fighters, especially when she's up to movement 5 as inspired. And she gets a combo reaction with her buckler, so she gets to hit somebody with it at the end of it. And then finally you've got a critical action there where you do 1 damage to adjacent fighters that are targeting them. So yeah, pretty cool. I really like these. From cards point of view, the objectives are all fairly low scoring but easy to get. So this one, for example, is a bit of a freebie with the fighter that's charges count as flying, because all you need to do is move over an enemy fighter then make an attack, which is pretty easy. Again, Blood in the Sands is a pretty easy one. So 3 or more enemy fighters are within 1 hex of an enemy and not in your territory. Again, all about positioning. Bloody Show, if all surviving enemy fighters have 1 or more wound counter. Exalting Violence, score if 2 or more friendly fighters are inspired. Faultless Display, score this immediately after a friendly fighter's attack action if it only contains successes. Grandstand, score immediately after a friendly fighter's attack action if that attack action succeeded and 2 or more of the Warband's Flourish Gambits are still persisting. We'll see those in a little bit. Hakura Hurricane, score if 3 or more enemy fighters are in enemy territory or each friendly fighter is inspired. That's a fairly easy one to get for 2 glory. This is a harder one in Praise Arcane. So each surviving fighter, that's friend or foe, has to have a charge token or 1 or more wound counters. Against an aggressive deck though, that's fairly easy to get. Lethal Spectacle, score immediately after an attack action if the attack took a target out of action and a flourish was persisting. Ritual Performance, score after an attack action if it results in a critical hit or the attack action dealt enough to take the target out of action. Storm of Blades, score after your Warband's 4th or subsequent attack action in the same phase. And Warrior Faithful, score for the end phase if each side enemy fighter has 1 or more charge tokens and or is adjacent to 1 or more enemy fighters. So again, low scoring, but I think they're fairly easy to get. The hardest one's that 3 glory one, but again, against certain warbands that might be quite easy to get. Onto the Poison Gambits, one of the things that we do get here is a new mechanic, Flourishes. So basically all of these give you a kind of positive effect and a negative effect, and they persist until a successful attack action or the end of the round. Now there are ways to make them persist longer or to recycle them as well with some of the upgrades that we'll see, but that's a nice little mechanic. It's a bit of a gamble mechanic really, because you are opening yourself up for a little bit of pain, but there are benefits to it. And then we see stuff that increases speed. We've got ways of getting glory after a flourish. Yeah, we've got some cool little bits there. Again, some of these as well make it a little bit easier to get some of those objectives that we've seen as well. So yeah, this is a pretty cool one as well. We've seen that ability to reduce the kind of damage that the warband takes. This one is similar, reducing the damage by 2. So you've got lots of tools to keep your fighters alive until they need to strike. And then finally, we'll have a look at the upgrades in here. And again, these play into that kind of thing as well, with ways of keeping your fighters alive, giving yourself more wounds. There's a lot of abilities in here that give you extra attacks, weapons for each of your fighters that combo off your existing attacks, again to try and chain them together and do some impressive damage. There's also a card in here as well that lets those flourishes persist for the entire battle essentially, and then any ones that are triggered you can then recycle back into your hand and play again, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, they look a pretty fun warband to use with some different tools in there. They're going to be quite a glass cannon, but I think they'll be fun to play. So let's have a look at the miniatures themselves and see what they look like. And here's a look at the completed miniatures, and I've got to say, they were great fun to paint up. At first, when I first saw these on Warhammer Community, I was a little bit disappointed by the Warband, just because it didn't have any of the, you know, cool unusual stuff like Melusai or Canary. But having built and painted these up, they are really nice models with some real style to them. In Warhammer Underworlds, one of the important things is that models have like a unique silhouette, so you can identify them on the board, and that's certainly the case with this Warband. And they were really fun to paint. What I always find is Warhammer Underworlds Warbands act as a nice palette cleanser between different forces. So if you've maybe been fighting, painting up an army and want something a bit different to just mix things up a little bit, these are well worth picking up for that. Equally, if you maybe want to try out a Daughters of Cain army and practice the scheme, by getting one of these small warbands, you've just got a few models to paint up to try out and see if you get on with them. So yeah, but no, that's really fun to paint up, and I did enjoy doing them. So that's a quick look at the new warband for Warhammer Underworlds. We have got a full kind of write-up over on the website where we go into a bit more detail on some of the cards. We also look at the new Beastbound Assault, I believe it's called, Rivals deck that is coming out alongside this. So that's all over on spruesandbrews.com, so if you are interested, check that out. If you have enjoyed the video, why not give us a follow? We do lots of unboxings and battle reports and all this kind of stuff, so yeah, your support is much appreciated. Also, if you do want to pick these up, if you use our affiliate link that can be found in the comments, you will save yourself a little bit of money and help support the site as well. So yeah, thanks again to Games Workshop for sending these over to review. I'm looking forward to getting some Warhammer Underworlds battle reports on the site as well soon. We're currently in the process of filming our latest round of bat reps, so stay tuned and they should be up on the site over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, until next time, have a great time and we'll see you next time.